Hey everyone, welcome back to the Board Game Spotlight. Today we're going to look at Mechanisms, a posh party game from the Daniel Zayas Company. It's for 1 to 8 players and it plays in about 30 minutes. So let's take it to the table and I'm going to tell you about it. Now I want to start off by saying that I had the distinct privilege and opportunity of co-designing this game with Daniel Zayas. So what you're seeing here is a labor of love from myself and from Daniel. And so I'm going to give you an overview. I'm going to give you a quick preview of how the game plays. And then if you're interested, you can take a look at the Kickstarter campaign. So the game is very simple. In fact, it can be explained in less than 30 seconds and played for a lifetime. So the point of the game is that you're trying to collect 5 of these Mechanisms cards. And you've guessed it, these cards are mechanisms to board games. Now, I want to go ahead and put up a warning that this game is not for new gamers. In fact, this game is not for anyone that is not into board games as a whole, as far as like how mechanisms come together to make designs and how fluid and intuitively they can make a thought. So how you could put together worker placement, simultaneous action selection, or I split you choose, and how each of those mechanisms could all be used in one game, or only one of them can be used to make a game. So if you are not intricately familiar with mechanisms of games, then this game might be a little bit difficult for you. However, I do want to say that each of these cards is going to give you a definition. And in fact, within that definition, it's going to give you a game that uses that mechanism. Now, all of these are prototype. Everything you see before you is in prototype form, so these games may change. So for I Split You Choose, we've decided to use New York Slice as a notable I Split You Choose game. You'll also notice that right here, there's an X with a line, and this +1. Now, what exactly does that mean? Well, I'm glad you asked. This is a legacy game. It does not have to be a legacy game, but it can be a legacy game. So if you go to a convention and you meet Jeffrey Allers, or you happen to meet Tim Eisner, or maybe Inka Brand, you could have them sign your Mechanisms card. And that card is now worth an additional point in your game. So instead of being worth 1 point, it would be worth 2 if you have the designer sign your card. So let's talk about what the game is about. You probably are wondering, what the heck is Mechanisms? Well, it is a party game for gamers. This is one of the only party games that is specifically built and designed for heavy board gamers. So at the beginning of the game, each player is going to draw 3 of these Mechanisms cards. These are the mechanisms that you need to get players to guess. Now, you only have to get players to guess 2 of your 3. So if you don't know how to act out or mime simultaneous action selection, that's cool. You could just mime worker placement or I Split You Choose. You get to choose which of these 2 mechanisms that you're going to act out for the table. Now the goal is to get both of these cards guessed. Anybody, just somebody at the table, needs to guess these mechanisms from your hand, and you're going to use these components to do that. If you have both of your mechanisms guessed, you get to keep your 3rd card as a retainer, so you have scored 1 point and you've divvied these out to whoever guessed those mechanisms. So you're going to start your 30 seconds, you'll flip the sand timer, and now you need to have the table guess these cards. So for I Split You Choose, we could grab these wooden pieces, and there's 4 of them. You know what? We could even put these coins in there. Now, this all needs to be done silently. This is an acting game. You are miming these out to the table. So I'm obviously talking just to walk you through it, but we could put these over here and these over here. So then if somebody guesses I Split You Choose, you would give that card to that player. Now, if they have not guessed it from that specific act, then you could add in something different. You could add more pieces to it and you know, really go down into the weeds of I'm splitting these and you're choosing, this is you this is me, you're choosing one of these two piles, and they say, I split, you choose. And you're like, yes, that's it. And you give them that card. Then you have to go to worker placement. So you could use these two hexes, and maybe each of these hexes has a resource on it. In fact, maybe they have different resources. And you take your meeple and you place it there, and then you collect these resources. Now, someone might say resource collection or area control or something, but then someone's like, no, that's worker placement. And you're like, yes, it's worker placement. You get a card. You just made it before time was up, and now you keep your third card because you successfully were able to have two people guess your mechanisms. And that's how it goes. It's incredibly frantic. As you know the mechanisms in the game, you're going to have a better opportunity of knowing what they're trying to express to you. So it becomes kind of like a battle of wits or a race to being able to decipher what the heck that person is trying to say. After you've handed out both of your cards, you're going to draw 3 new cards for the next round. And we could look, let's see, we have Pick Up and Deliver, Dice Rolling, and Rondelle. Now, Rondelle is a much harder mechanism to act out than the other two are. But you know what? Maybe you want to get some style points here. Now, this is just for fun. You don't actually get anything in the game for doing this, but if you can convey your mechanisms in one fluid, creative, single action, the more the better. So the way you could do this is if we had Pick Up and Deliver, we could do a, we have resources over here, we have a resource over here. And you know what? Maybe we even incorporate these hexes. And then we've got our meeple. So maybe these resources are sitting over here, this one's over here, and you know what? We could use our third card. They don't know what it is, but you can use anything at the table. You can even deal these cards out. You can use the bag. Whatever you want to do, it is up to you. This is a creative problem-solving process. So if we had dice rolling and Pick Up and Delivering, we could roll our dice, and then we could move, pick these up, and move here, and drop them off. And we roll the dice again, we pick them up. And if someone says, dice rolling, Pick Up and Delivery, boom! One person was able to guess both of your mechanisms in one shot. So you've helped yourself out because you were able to get both of your cards guessed, and they were able to get 2 points for that. If what you see looks fun to you, if you're interested in knowing more about this game, take a look at the description below for a link to the Kickstarter campaign. This has been Derek with the Board Game Spotlight, and this has been your preview of Mechanisms, the party game.